We already did see the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, conduct its own national convention here in Abuja, and they now have a new leadership at the helm of the party's affairs. And now it would seem that it's the turn of the ruling party, the ruling All Progressives Congress. Will they be able to conduct a successful primary looking at all that is currently happening within the party? It looks that there are already people who are aggrieved ahead of a national convention. How will things work out? What mode will they use? Will the Electoral Act, as currently being passed or has been passed by the National Assembly, where direct primaries is what is now being prescribed by this new Electoral Act, waiting assent, that's waiting assent from the President. If it sails through, is that what the APC will adopt? These are all the questions we're going to be asking this morning. We have with us Mr. Ibrahim Modibo, who is a former member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council and also a board member of the Abuja Broadcasting Corporation. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning, sir.
Thank you, Margaret. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning. And we also have Aliyu Audu, who is a young stakeholder in the APC.
Stakeholder.
Beg your pardon?
Not young, stakeholder.
A stakeholder. Okay, so we've removed that now. We've removed young. Okay, well, you're welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. The issues that are burning are important for your party members, and it would seem that some of the rankles are already being reported again in the papers. I do not know if you're worried or you're anxious about, how the primaries or the convention is going to be conducted, because you understand in some places some primaries are already being conducted and people are unhappy and are threatening to take the party to court. Since the fallout of the ruling on Ondo, there has been some, fears within the party as to whether or not the Buni-led caretaker committee could proceed to conduct a convention. What are your thoughts on that as your party approaches the date of the month where it is set for a convention, December?
All right. Thank you very much, Maupe. Good morning, Nigerians. Yeah, rightly so, there are people who are aggrieved within the party. But for myself and my group, the concerned stakeholders, we're not aggrieved, as the name says. We're just concerned, very worried, And you mentioned Ondo State. I mean, you've just said something about convention in December. I'm wondering where you heard that from, because there's not been any formal communication from the caretaker committee as to when convention is going to happen. It's been 1 year plus. There's been an extension after an extension. They are waiting for an extension. As a matter of fact, we have it known that they do not want to conduct convention. They want to go on with this till we get to a point where they sell to the people again that it's too late to conduct convention. Something they failed to do when it was early enough. They had 6-month mandates. 6 months. And like their committee name rightly said, what they were supposed to do was set up for convention for the leadership of the party and hand over. My Malabuni cannot be part-time governor elected and be appointed chairman of the APC. No. The constitution does not support that. Our party constitution does not. Electoral law does not support that. There are a lot of litigations waiting in the, when, like you rightly said, coming from Mondo. We do not know what the exact position of the law says on that. But if you look at the constitution clearly and look at the party constitution and the electoral law, you know that, people who are concerned have reasons to be concerned. Because it clearly states that you cannot be the governor and be a CEO or, take up another kind of job of such. And they've come up with the excuse about Governors Forum. Governors Forum has a DG. That's the CEO of Governors Forum. He's in charge of the day-to-day running of Governors Forum, not the chairman who is a governor. That's more or less an appointment, like a board member, board chairman or thereabout. But for chairman, party chairman, you are the CEO, you are responsible as the head of the NWC, you are responsible for the day-to-day running of the party. You can't be responsible for the day-to-day running of the All Progressives Party and be responsible for the day-to-day running of Yobe State. We did not promise Yobe State part-time governor. We owe it to Yobe State to give them. It's one of the 3 states dealing with, insecurity. The last report from, I saw a report from Satisens that says where the IGR of every state is ranked. Yobe is like a disappointing I mean, it's the lowest in the rank. So Yobe State as a state needs Mai Mala Buni to sit in Yobe and govern, so he can deliver to people of Yobe what we, through President Muhammad Buhari, promised the people of Yobe. That's what we are saying.
That's the point from which you are approaching this. The fact that he's been there for longer than the 6 months which was promised now, and it would seem that he is now part-time governor of Yobe State and facing more the issues of your party. Would you say that it's because the issues of the party are intractable? That's why it's been difficult for him to go to Yobe?
Now the problem is the assignment was clear. We had issues in some, I mean, from the last election, we had issues from states. You know how we lost Zamfara. You know what our problem in Rivers State. And these were the issues that led to the dissolution of the last NWC. Impunity, bad management, lack of transparency, lack of justice in the party that led to all of that. And the assignment was to fix those problems as a caretaker committee and hand over and set up convention and hand over. Right now, we have more problems, way more problems in the party than we had when he came on board. We didn't have problem in Delta State, but we now do, because during the party membership registration that was, in my own way, was needless. How many years ago did we do our registration? 2014. And we have, I mean, nothing stops us from updating our register, adding new members. But running an entirely new registration was unnecessary. And even more unnecessary that there was no value added to that registration process than it happened 7 years ago. The world is moving. We have teeming, what's it called, population of restless, active, agile young Nigerians. They need people who know what they are doing, who know what the time is to lead them. And these guys can't. We had the party registration. We could not automate any single part of it. We didn't do it in 2014. That's fine. But we decided to do it now. There was no automation of any kind of any part. It's the same thing as we had. There was no value added. So what is in it? As we speak, we still don't have a harmonized membership registration. So what is the essence of the registration? And right now, you have people who went for party registration. You go to Delta, then, I mean, you have people who have their own materials for registration, just like the Congress.
I take it that you're from Delta State then?
No.
Where are you from?
I'm a Nigerian.
I mean, what you mean? What I mean is, where did you have to do your registration?
Abuja here, FCT.
Abuja, okay,
Yeah.
just confirming that. But let me come to you now, Mr. Modibo. The issues look simple as they look complex. The terms of reference given to the APC Caretaker Committee, the party caretaker committee, it would seem that they have exceeded the time given to them to carry out those terms of reference. And from what he says now, it would seem that, a convention was to be part of it, where they would, hand over to a capable leadership to lead your party, especially as it moves into the general elections in 2023 and beyond. But so far, so good. It looks like there's plenty of disquiet. What do you make of the anxiety which is greeting whether or not there will be new leadership as your party goes into the general elections?
Thank you very much, Markwe. It is assumed, though rightly, that in any political setup, especially in a viable and vibrant democracy such as ours in a multicultural society under globalization, the issue that attracts the central burner is that of politicking. And this opposition, especially coming from my brother Audu and his group, it's a normal democratic culture. To us, that is the beauty of democracy. It shows that this party is vibrant, this party is mobile, and this party is attracting, this vibrant feeling from the young people that are in a hurry, so to say, to come and capture power or to collect power from whatever the source is. You see, nobody is saying that Mai Mala Buni will be leading this party, will be ruling this party as a governor till eternity. No. Mai Mala Buni in his patriotic and nationalistic intervention in the process of good governance of this party, he has decided to combine two heavy issues at stake: governance of a state, such as Yobe, under a security threat.
He has decided.
Well, of course.
Is that not in contravention of the Constitution and also of your own party Constitution?
No. You see, it's a caretaker. He's not saying as if he is there permanently. No, it's just a caretaker. It has been a normal thing. All through democracy since we started in 1999, Mark, I've been a team player. I've been there as National Director of Publicity 2001 up to 2010. And we've seen Ali Sharif there, we've seen Bafarawa. All these people were caretaker committee chairmen. And they were also governors. So therefore, it is not new. There's nothing novel. I strongly believe that Mai Mala Buni has steered the leadership of this party with philosophical calmness. And I believe that he has been able to contribute so much by bringing a lot of people. Governors have come in, senators have come in droves. We've seen also members of House of Representatives, local government chairmen. In fact, we're about to capture the whole country in terms of politicking. And in terms of aggregating our opinion, bringing forth the beauty and artistry of this party.
The question is, what sort of house are you bringing them to?
Well,
because some people say that the APC house itself needs some mending. So if you don't mend it and you're bringing everybody in, it's in no time, if you don't mend the house, it surely will collapse.
Mark, nobody is pretending that APC is a mosque or a church, where there's only one person at the pulpit preaching without people responding. It is a normal democratic culture. Wherever democracy prevails, there must be internal opposition, or there must be opposition. And therefore, the more the merrier, the beauty. We believe that, look, it's an internal issue, and we have internal mechanisms of conflict resolution. All these problems, within a very short time, it will be solved. Because I am sure by now, Mai Mala Buni administration, leading this party to victory in 2023, by the grace of God, I believe that they are now setting standards.
Did you listen to the complaint of Senator Marafa in recent times about what happened, transpired in Zamfara State?
Yes, Markwe. You see, there's this saying, those who live in glass houses do not throw stones anywhere. But for anyone that lives in a glass house and decides to be so reckless, to throw stones anywhere, not minding where it lands, it shows, that this emotional burden, this hysteria. And I strongly believe there's also that feeling of collapsing the house in which he's also inside. And I strongly believe that with what Senator Marafa was saying yesterday when I saw him on the television, my heart bled. Because I strongly believe that a democratic setup such as ours, there will be conflict of ideas, not conflict of personalities. There will be contest of ideas, not conflict of personalities. And I believe for him to bring our dirty linens to the public, to start going into personal issues, instead of attacking the substance of the party, my heart bleeds. And I believe it is a greatest disappointment to the position he held as a senator. Everybody knows who Senator Marafa is. He is there just like a bull in a china shop. He's there, he's ready to bring down a whole roof, in as much as his interest is not protected. And I think that is not the philosophy of democracy. He has the option to opt out. If you don't want this party, go to about 20 or so parties that are in Nigeria. Go to PDP.
The question is, for a number of people, they're wondering why the APC simply wouldn't do the right thing.
No. There is no party that's not doing the right thing. Mai Mala Buni is setting standards. He's trying to make sure that we have a very formidable government based on the popularity of the people, government elected by our parties. And as my brother was saying, we have a register. This is the first party that's even set standard of registering all our members nationwide. We've done it successfully, and I can tell you, for now, there are technical people that are working on collation, compilation, and also tabulating all the membership that we have for proper accountability. And therefore, in the interest of Nigeria, if we are going for these direct primaries, we are set. And Mai Mala Buni administration is giving us the focus, the foresight, and also the latitude within which Mwakwe to
Mr.
address
Modibo,
issues as they come.
I'm going to ask you to please hold your thoughts. We need to take this break, and we'll be back shortly. Please stay with us. Well, we're still talking about the APC, especially as it approaches a convention, which is, well, I was just asked now where I got confirmation I was going to hold in December. But generally, the thought is that the APC convention is going to hold in December. I'm going to confirm from my guest here. Mr. Ibrahim Modibo, you were speaking just before we went on break. I'd like to confirm, is it certain that the APC convention is going to hold in December?
Of course, why not? It's very, we're putting everything on
But
ground
your
to make
fellow
sure.
party member here doesn't have that information.
You see, my problem is, you see, if somebody is in the opposition, he doesn't want to come close to the
opposition,
party.
he's not in the
No, there is internal opposition and there is external opposition, Mark Way. So if one feels, look, you see, as I've told you, I'm also interested in contesting for an office, and therefore have interest in this journey. I want to also see the possibility of us going to the Congress. But we have to set things right. As it is today, we are having a lot of problems here and there because of the congresses, local government, state, and world congresses. And we've set up a mechanism where we find our elder statesmen and also people that matter, stakeholders, going to almost all the states to see how they'll be able to manage the crisis and then bring everything on board to stability. That is the process as it is today. We have set standard, God willing, because we are all human beings. We cannot be predicted, but God willing, the standard has been set for December. We'll do this convention. And therefore,
is there a formal announcement to that effect?
There will be, as soon as possible, there will be.
This is November already.
Yes,
November the 15th, as
good.
a matter of fact.
As it is, Markwe, I want you to believe this party. I want you to believe...
It's not for me to believe it. I'm not going to attend your convention.
No, maybe you come and cover.
It is for your party members, for them to know...
Maybe you come and cover.
You know, when your convention is going to take place. If a month to, less than 2 weeks to December, you haven't made an announcement, the question will be, how do you want... Unless you're planning to shut people out.
No.
And you don't want them to attend.
You see, Markwe, before you plan for a convention, you must be able to allocate, you know, the positions of authority under the party. You have to allocate where the chairmanship comes from, where the presidential candidate comes from, where the public secretary, the deputy national chairman, all that. You have to allocate to various zones and states. And this is what is in progress now. What is in progress, seriously. And I can attest to the fact that the Maimala Buni administration is not in any way in distraction of trying to place a formidable political platform that will be able to conduct these primaries very well or conduct this convention very well without rancor. And that is what we are trying to do. Agreed. There are problems here and there. And these problems here and there, they are not as if they are insurmountable. We have to sit down, aggregate things, work at modalities. You see, when you look at young and vibrant people like my brother Audu, my younger one here, we need them because they are the engine drives of the party. They are the people that articulate, they are the people that vote, they are the people that even canvass for votes in 2023. And therefore, we are not in any way enemies. We are not political enemies. It's only that we have opposition. And opposition is a normal thing in a democratic setup. And I commend them for putting up this opposition, for bringing in, you know, their own feelings, instead of hiding or being cocooned into an area, trying to commit sabotage to the party. But by their coming out, to show that, look, they want this in a hurry, it clearly defines their own principles, their own policies as people that are...
You know, he said something. He said,
Yes.
he said something about people who know what time of day is. And when he talked about young people, I do not know if he was referring to young people within or outside the party. What I got from that is the fact that, you know, Nigeria has a huge population of young people who are waiting for leadership. And he's wondering whether, you know, his party knows what time of day it is. And in terms of, with regards to that, in terms of the processes, the internal processes that they have in-house, are you, you know, if you know, the protests which you're seeing in-house is from a demographic which you consider young, are you taking that to be a reflection of how you might be perceived by a larger demography which is outside of your political party?
Assuming without necessarily conceding to the argument of my brother Audu about the vibrancy of the young people, you know, under their group. Malabuni is also a young man. He's also a young man. He's not an old person. And therefore, I strongly believe that they're trying to chase away one of their own. But to me, I believe that my Malabuni, as truthful as he is, I am sure that this committee is going to set standards because I'm also an interested party. So I would like this convention to hold. But I don't want us
Well,
to
you do not have
stampede.
confirmation that's going to happen in December.
It will. I don't want to stampede anybody, but I want the whole political system to take its natural process. Internal opposition, it's okay. It is one thing that beautifies democracy. And I thank them for doing a good job.
Let me come back to you, Mr. Aldo. I'm sure that you also followed very closely the issue of the Electoral Act amendment, which is supposed to be transmitted to the president now. We do not know at what stage that's going to be in, but we do know that the National Assembly has passed that particular amendment bill. The question is, how certain are you? I do not know if how interested are you first in the passage of that bill as is, especially with regards to direct primaries, and what implication it will have for your party? And do you think it's something that the president will assent to?
All right. Before I go into that, let me address a few things he mentioned, referring to us as opposition within the party, and the way and manner he talked about how Senator Marafa can leave the party. You see, that's a problem in itself. We can't continue to do things the same way and expect different results. The APC is a party of hope for Nigeria. If you understand clearly, we have the kind of quality of members that has never been seen, not in numbers, not just numbers, I'm talking about quality. From 2013, as a matter of fact, from before its formation, many of us, young, vibrant people who were professionals in their field, who realized that it is very important to get involved in how the country is governed, saw that hope in two leaders. One, a Democrat who stood his ground against all odds. He could have moved from opposition to join the leading party, then he didn't. Then another man who has kept clean record in all of his position in public service, because he believes in, public funds should be used for public functions. These two, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President Muhammadu Buhari, inspired us to pay attention and we gave everything. We've given everything. As a matter of fact, the team of young, vibrant Nigerians who are in APC, who campaigned for this party for 2 elections, worked day and night, defend this government and defend this party day and night. Guess what? They don't get paid for it. I mean, you hear all sort of BNMC money. That's not. We know how young people who were in the previous party in government used to live. We know what they were about. But we don't care, because our goal is taking the country where it needs to be. And we have a leader in President Muhammadu Buhari who will do that. And it's on that same belief that I know that President Muhammadu Buhari will assent to the bill, because he has always been about, if you know, even before the National Assembly passed this bill, a few weeks ago, he said it in a meeting, that what he truly wants to do is for us to take power back to the people. We have seen election done under his campaign. He has never at any time tried to influence the outcome of any election. We've lost Anambra State as a sitting government to opposition twice. And you realize the previous election that was won by Governor Obiano, he came to pay an appreciation to Mr. President, referring to him as the father of all. That's who he is. He truly wants the people of Nigeria, not just the APC now. He truly wants people of Nigeria to be in charge of determining who governs them. So I am confident that he will assent to the bill. Whoever is afraid of direct primary, I have been a part of the primary committee for direct and indirect. I understand why they are. Only bad management, poor organization skills will scare you from direct primary. It is simple. You are either a member or you're not. You have your card. So we are saying, if you are in this constituency, we want to decide who will represent you at the National Assembly or at the House of Assembly or at the Senate or as a governor. So you, in this constituency, as a party member, come out and pick who you want. We want the decision-making to be, as widespread as possible. That's inclusion.
Oh, you prefer direct primaries?
That's the way to go. We need more people. People, you can't be worried about the people you govern. You can't be worried about them deciding how you govern them. If you are worried, then you're not free to be there in the first place.
So some people say it will put a strain on the party. They believe it's going to be very cumbersome.
What doesn't?
Direct primaries is going to be very cumbersome.
What doesn't put a strain on the party?
We
are not doing direct primary. Are we not in trouble? It's our candidate in Anambra State just concluded election. Was it direct primary that was done? Yes. But was it actually a primary? According to them. How could we have scored 243,000 in primary but can't score 50,000 in general election? Where are the other members who voted for him? The only thing they are afraid of is because they don't know how to do things rightly. They don't want to do the right thing.
So do you think the problem is direct or indirect primaries, or do you think that the problem is a general lack of sincerity and honesty?
And lack of competence, capacity, lack of sincerity, right? That's it. They don't want to do the right thing, and they don't know how to, and they are not ready to look at and bring in people who can. We have way too many. Look at our cabinet. Look at our quality men in our party. We should be able to pick leaders that will inspire the generation. I mean, you said something, I'm not talking about just the young people in the party. No, by extension in the country. That is the promise. That is the list. All of them who have benefited from the personality, the lifestyle of President Muhammad Buhari. That's the least they can do for him and his legacy, to preserve it. Make sure the right thing is done, so that generations to come will understand that we made a U-turn when we decided President Muhammad Buhari's victory wasn't the governors. So when they celebrate getting governors into the party, senators, that's not it. You have governors in your party, and who loses his state? You have a deputy governor who crosses over but loses his polling unit. Is that one a leader?
Let me come back to you, sir, Alhaji Modibo. Let me ask you what your take is on this Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Is your preference to direct primaries?
Fantastic. Let me align myself with my brother, Aliyu, to canvass for direct primaries, because direct primary presupposes that the party is taken to the people. It goes back to the people. There's a need for vibrant and holistic participation of the people at the grassroots, so that no any Sherlock, no any Godfather hijacks the party. For now, there are processes within all parties in the country where some Godfathers with Ghana must goes hijack the process of the party. Like he stated, look at the issue of Anambra. If we could get about 250,000 votes for our candidate to emerge, why is that the same number not repeating itself? We would have won this election. But I could see an excuse of maybe because of the security problems. And that security problem presupposes that some people were afraid of their lives coming out to vote. So that might be an excuse. But however...
So what did you make of the meeting, the tripartite committee meeting, which tried to hold, but they said there was a fait accompli with the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill before that meeting eventually held? You recall that there was a meeting that held in the villa shortly after the Electoral Act Amendment Bill was passed. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So what did you make of that? Because if those who felt that that was supposed to resolve that particular part of the Electoral Act Amendment, which they felt was not going to go down well for the party.
You see, in the days gone by, especially in the National Assembly, we had an assembly that was virtually in opposition, where things were moving from the sublime to the ridiculous, where mediocrity and also equity ruled. But this is a new set of National Assembly members that are very patriotic, very nationalistic, and they want to see to, the sustainability of democracy. And therefore, they stood their grounds. In spite of the tripartite meeting, they stood their grounds. They said, look, we are ready to give Nigeria or democracy in Nigeria back to the people. And therefore, they are calling on Mr. President to accede to the bill. But if he doesn't, they have the right to veto. That is the beauty of the National Assembly. And if they veto, it becomes law. So these problems, to me, it is just some few people, especially the governors, who are not interested. The governors across party lines, all of them, because they want a situation where they can just sit and nominate people, those that they want, especially now in the National Assembly. If you look at National Assembly has become maybe the burial grounds of governors, because once they leave government at their state, they come to National Assembly and perpetuate themselves, sit tight. They don't allow anybody to contest any position again, and that is not the spirit of democracy. People like Ali should come into the Senate. They should come and become governors. They should have the ambition of become presidents. Therefore, this is going to change the narrative. I can tell you, if you are not performing, you have the capacity to lose your seat as a senator. You have the capacity to lose, any position you occupy if you are not doing good to your people. Therefore, you must be a performer. You must have danced to the rhythm, rhymes, and rhythm of the demands and dynamics of the people, what they want, before they elect you. So this party now goes back to the people. And let me tell you, Markwe, what President Muhammadu Buhari has been able to set this standard, especially in Anambra, it goes along to give us a warning signal that if you're a governor or if you're a senator, if you do not perform, you have the capacity to lose, irrespective of party. As he stated when he came in, he had wanted to fix the,
Well, not so much about the stand of the president or the fact that your party was not together in Anambra. But I understand that, my colleague in Lagos has questions for you. Ayo.
Fine.
Well, thank you, Mokwe. I just wanted to ask Mr. Modibo, one of the things that has concerned me as an individual in this issue is that, for a very long time, when we hear political parties having internal issues, I'm wondering, why should the people who employ politicians into public office engage or employ members of your party when the party itself is finding it difficult to govern itself within? There are so many, states in the country today where the APC has two factions, different factions and all of that. And the most I hear when we engage people is there are always interests at play in a political party. Isn't that the same for every sphere of life? One would have expected that such things would be so much reduced now, especially with the APC at the center.
You see, I've always stated, or I've always have this commitment or feeling that a political party such as the APC in government of the country are likely to win elections in the next 10, 20 years. I can assure you that it is just like a market square. People will be coming in droves because they know the value of being in that political party. This is a party that gives democracy. Unlike some of our political parties, especially the PDP, where one man, one governor has been able to hijack all the process. He nominates the chairman, he does everything. And in this party, no any dominant governor hijacks the process. We have people like Audu that are here to challenge anybody that wants to hijack the process. But in PDP, there's nothing. It's so dormant. And almost all of these political parties, they are dormant. And therefore, these people, they feel that APC is a party to be. APC is a party that will give them democracy. APC is a party that will give them level playing ground for them to aspire to be members of the
I would like you
committee,
to, if you don't
or to
mind,
be
just a
members of the
second.
state,
Just a second.
to be governors.
Let's speak to this specific
Yes.
issue. The APC is having internal crisis. It shouldn't be. Most of the people within the party, they are mature, they're old enough to take care of themselves. Many have families. Consequently, there's a lot of stability in different areas of the personal lives of these people. So why don't we have the same level of stability in the political party, given its prominence in the nation today?
Ayo, I'm so happy that you've raised sociology or psychology and also a student of nature. There is nowhere in nature that you find a perfect human being or where you find 2, 3, 4 people who meet without challenges or without an opposition. You know it. Do you think that APC is a church or a mosque where we only have an imam or a pastor that people will just sit down without any rancor, without any problem? We value people's opposition, internal opposition, because it makes the party the more the merrier.
Okay, so let Mr. Aldo intervene on the question as well.
All right. Ayo, okay. So this is how I want to respond to this that you've just said. I will agree with my elder brother here on the need for, I mean, every association will always have internal crisis, be it family, business, whatever it is. I mean, but the essence is to, to improve, on however it's doing, whatever it's doing. But I'll answer your question as to how APC intends to win, why Nigerians who elected us should elect us back. You'll understand that the last 6 years have been different. It's been the best 6 years of our democratic life as a country. Forget the fact that we have internal issues. The fact that we have that is the very reason why APC is the party. Because within how many years, we realized that at the time we came together, it was an amalgamation of different interests. We had a goal to pause the destruction being, melted out to the country and make a U-turn. Now we've made that U-turn. We are redefining ourselves. We are building ideology upon which generations will come to love the APC for. We want to build a political institution.
Just 1 second. On the same issue, my sincere apologies. On the same issue that you have raised.
In order to do that, we need to get our acts right, which is what we are doing.
Mr. Audu, just 1 second. The issue that you have raised, and you have, actually expressed your displeasure with some things that have been happening in the party, and that's a given. But you see, the crisis that you're talking about cost the APC some states already. And it's in the same vein that I have heard you speak all the while, that there are some things that shouldn't be, that should be no-brainers. Some things shouldn't really be difficult to conjecture. So how come we have parallel, chairmen in some states and all of that? If there is no unity, there will definitely be an issue. Yes, every human community will have crisis one way or another. But shouldn't there be mechanisms that will protect the party and retain its strength? There are those who are calling for the resignation of the Buni-led government, such as some of the things that you have also said. And so one wonders, is there a challenge with cohesion within the party that is making it difficult for all to be on one page for so long?
All right. You see, it's not been so long, in all honesty. And unlike he said, we are not in a hurry. We are not in a hurry to take over power. I mean, as a matter of fact, we want to be very actively involved because we think we have values to add. We have, we have our names. It matters to us. The old guard probably doesn't. We came out, out of our comfort zone from 2013 to campaign around the length and breadth of this country for us to win the election. Now, the Democrats and the Republicans, I mean, United States of America has democracy that has been over 2 centuries. But in the build-up to the election that was won by former President Trump, there were problems within the Republican Party. There will always be problems within parties. But the concern that we have right now is we want every challenge that we come across, we want to fix them in such a way that makes us better than we were before it. And we are not seeing that.
Let's start with the challenge of 20 million or 40 million registered members of your party, which have been manually recorded. Do you think, because you have already raised that as an issue, you said that there was no value added. Are you optimistic that as you approach the 2023 general elections, they will be able to add some value, your party will be able to add some value to those names by streamlining and coming up with a register? Yes,
we will. That's what we're doing. That's why we want the convention to hold quickly. We want to be able, some of this thing, if you have, there's technologies everywhere. There's no need saying, we're not going to plant a tree and water it for 3 years just to put records together. No. We can do all of this in a matter of weeks if you have the right people with the right mandate who know what they want to do.
By the right people, you mean a new
set of leaders
in the party?
Yes, we want every position of the NWC to be vied for by people who are sure of what they want. We don't want anyone who wants to be governor yesterday and wants to be senator today and wants to be party leader tomorrow. Be very sure of what your aspirations are. Be very sure of what you want. So we want every position. That's why we want them to come up with a timetable, a timeline, the zoning formula, so that people can truly begin to aspire. They can start working towards achieving that so that they can put up their plans. Because we are going to ask every single person going for the NWC to let us know why we should make them those positions. But we won't have the time. If you wake up one day, I'll tell you something. The state congress election that was postponed by 2 weeks, I think it was only my Malabuni and the secretary that knew about it.
Do you suspect that that could happen for the convention?
I am saying, that's why when you said you are sure you heard of December, I'm wondering, because there's not been any communication. If we're going to have the convention, the end of December is about 6 weeks away from now. That's end of December. So, information is not out, planning is not done. How are we, I mean, then we wake up one night and we rush this usual 11th hour approach, and we are wondering why there will be crisis. Because those are the things we want to be stopped. Those are the things we are asking for to be done. That's why we asked them, we are asking them now to set up convention committee and exit so that
they shouldn't head the convention committee by themselves.
They can't head it. They can't head. Normally they will set up a convention committee. You know, it's not them to head it naturally. You know, if any of them, I'm not against Mai Mala running for national chairman. He can resign as governor. He has a very, competent deputy that will take over. Then come and contest for national chairman. But in any case, he has to resign first as caretaker because he can't be acting and be vying for the same position. Let them, set up a committee, a convention committee. Let's have the date. Let's have the zoning formula. Let's have the plan so that we can start going around. We joined party because we want to make a party, APC, the truly progressive party that it's supposed to be. So we can go around and ask people who are running for position, they must give us a plan. This isn't 2014. This isn't 2017. This is 2021.
Alhaji Modibo, do you have anything to say contrary to what he has said?
Well, I'm not sure that my brother has enough statistics and information on the happenings in the party. For him to say that, to give this blanket statement that there's nothing that has been achieved, I think it's not being fair.
I haven't said that.
No, that was what...
no, I haven't said there's nothing that has been achieved. I haven't said that.
Was that not what you said?
I didn't hear that, but...
I haven't said that.
But what was your question?
But if you are counting defection as achievement, I will disagree with you.
Of course. Is it not achievement?
No, it's not.
If somebody defects from his house and comes to your house,
is it
not achievement? Is adding value to your house?
The goal of
let me just ask.
The goal of the APC is not to have a one-party state.
We
don't want to have a one-party state. We want to be so good that we inspire the other parties to be better.
This question went to me.
That's what we want. We don't want people living...
just quickly respond.
Let me respond
to it now.
You see, he's not being fair.
So just a moment.
No,
is it being fair when he asks for a convention committee to be set up?
We're not talking about convention committee. We're talking about achievements.
That's the question I'm posing. I did not ask him anything about achievements. I'm asking, whether he was optimistic about, a convention, happening, especially as December approaches. He is not very optimistic about that because so far so good says there's been no official announcement by your party as to when a convention will take place.
Well, I was only reacting to the introductory notes when he started. He said there was no achievement by this Mai Mala administration, which I think is not true.
I never said that.
It's okay. Since you are withdrawing, I'm happy.
Are you optimistic? I'm
happy you are withdrawing.
Are you optimistic about the convention being...
Yes, I'm very optimistic about the convention.
We have 30 seconds.
Yes, I'm very optimistic about the convention. I think... let us be patient. The convention committee is going to come up as soon as possible. And you see, in this jet age... As
soon as this week?
Yes, well, I'm not saying this week, but it could be any time from now. So, with this...
You're not afraid that it's already getting too late?
With this era of technology,
I'm just asking.
We're not looking for town criers to come and start telling people, the whole villages. You have television, you have radio, you have the papers. So therefore, what is there to announce? It doesn't take any time and to circulate everything in the whole world. So what is the problem in this globalization, when we have technology? So announcement is just nothing. By the time planning and everything will be set, and I can tell you that we are going to have a very perfect convention, God willing. Leaders of purpose, leaders of credibility, and leaders that will move this party forward under the chairmanship of Mai Mala Buni, having set the convention committee. They'll be able to evolve leaders for us that will be able to move this party forward towards 2023.
It's a fine place to live. We will have to leave now, gentlemen. I have to thank you both for coming on Sunrise Early. Ibrahim Modibo, you already had one. Ibrahim Modibo is a former member of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, and Ali Audu is a stakeholder in the APC. Well, that's